Hey everybody, it's me, Undead Viking. I'm here with a video review for you. The game I am going to be showing you today is called GingerDead House. Yes, okay, so it's got a little humorous name to it, and it's got a little humorous theme to it as well. The idea is that each player is somebody who just recently bought a cottage in the Enchanted Forest, which has all kinds of little fairy creatures and stuff. And so you can see there on the picture, you can see all of those on there. And there are both good fantasy creatures and evil fantasy creatures. And so you have like a gingerbread house that has like a ton of well, the gingerbread house, you know, like candy and what have you, and so you actually have like gummy bear shotguns and bazookas and catapults and things like that. And then the monsters in the forest, like you know, like the big bad wolf, or you know, the witch that tried to eat Hansel and Gretel and things like that. The grim fairy tales, they come out of the forest and try to attack you. Now this isn't like a co-op game. There is a co-op variant. What this is you taking care of your little tower defense. The creatures come, and you'll see when I show you the player boards. They come out of the forest and they march on your home, and you have a hand of cards, and you get to place little traps and what have you. And then so you kind of have to put the traps that link together well and work well together. And then you have different actions that you can do that kind of maybe can send monsters to other people's houses and stuff like that, so you can kind of keep them away. And basically it's a winner is last person standing type of game, and if the monsters ever do reach the end and fall off your board, then they presumably eat you or kill you or what have you, and then you're out of the game. So yes, there is player elimination, but I will touch on that when I do the conclusion as to why that's not such a big deal. So I'll show you how to play. Shouldn't take long, and then we'll come back here and I'll tell you exactly what I think of GingerDead House. This is the board for GingerDead House, and these are the cards you'll be using. There is no main board in the game. This is a player board, and each player will have the exact same player board. Even when you play co-op, each person will have a board. The co-op version of the game, instead of being all against all, the co-op version of the game has like two people against two people, and so then you have to keep your friend alive or what have you. My daughter and I have actually played a version that we kind of came up ourselves, where we've both tried to keep each other alive, and we've kind of tried to figure out how many monsters we can defeat, you know, before we lose, or if we can get through like the whole deck of monsters, you know, then we consider that a win. If you ever do go through the deck of monsters, you just shuffle it up normally and redeal. The same can be said for these actions, and also your own deck of cards there. So to begin the game, everybody gets, like you see this board and their cards. And the first thing that happens is you have to turn cards over from your deck until you find 3 defenses, because you get to have some starting defenses for your house. Now, this board has rows, which go this way, and lanes, which go this way. Monsters start here and move their way down. This is considered your house down here, and if a monster ever gets past this row 1, this is row 5, if it gets past row 1, you are destroyed. And just like you kind of see in a lot of tower defense games. And so we'll turn these cards over. So this is not a defense, you can tell, because there's this little backstab icon there. Kind of graphic. And swap the position of a monster on your field with a defense on your field. So, you know, that's like a trick is what it's called. So we can't use that one. There's another trick. Another trick. Oh, okay, here we go. This is a pretty good defense. The Harrier Jet, you can see it has a defense value of 9. That's how much power it has, so when it fights monsters, any monster that is a 9 or less, it will destroy. It should be noted that, like, if you tie, normally both the defense and the monster are destroyed. So it's a Harrier Jet, and then you can see there's a little special power. The Harrier Jet may move up to 2 tiles in any direction during movement phase. Before the monster movement, it may move into a monster force combat. So basically, it's able to fly around your board. And so that's one defense. Let's see what else we get here. Okay, then we get the Wizard of What. This is kind of neat. It has an 8/0. It's an 8 if you use it on your board, and it is a 0 if you put it on somebody else's board. And so, like you can see, then it has to be destroyed for them to take so it takes up a space and doesn't do anything for them. They have to let a monster destroy it before it's gone. Now, it should be noted that if you ever cover a defense with another defense, you can do that, and then you just destroy the defense that's underneath it. So one more defense, and wow, I got really lucky. I got the Gummy General. The Gummy General will move one tile in any direction during movement phase before monsters attack. Your Gummy Grunts are power +2 when the Gummy General is in the field. Well, I've really hit it off pretty well. So let's just go ahead and put the Gummy General. You want to put the Gummy General someplace where they have mobility. Same thing with the Harrier Jet, and we'll just go ahead and put the Wizard of What over there. So then you take the cards that you couldn't use, and you're going to shuffle those back into the deck. Man, that's probably the best starting. I've played this game several times now, and I've never been that lucky to start with. Though other players, though, they can steal defenses and things like that with their tricks, and so sometimes having that stuff out there isn't exactly good because of the fact that they get taken away from you. So after everybody set everything up, then you get to draw 5 cards. 5, and this will be my starting hand. Let's just see what I got here. Little Red Riding Hood. You can see she instantly destroys the Big Bad Wolf. They're in the same lane. The Mirror may equal the power defense in the same lane. It's kind of nice. The Gummy Grunt, that'll work well with my Gummy General because it'll be worth 6. And notice that you can do damage to one creature for 4 in the same row once per turn. Oh, and then You'll Never Catch Me, destroy all monsters in row 1 on any field. And I'd like flip monster cards equal to the number of opponents. Place 1 monster on each of their fields. So it's just ways that you can mess with people. And so we're going to go ahead and keep those in our hand and get ready to go. So the first thing that happens on my turn, I'll pull an action card. This action will affect me, not anybody else. It tells me what happens. So this action card is I'm overwhelmed. This number over here tells me I'm going to draw 4 monsters. I flip the top card of your deck before monsters enter the field. If it's a defense card, you may play it immediately. Well, that's kind of nice. So we'll go ahead and put that there. We'll see if we get another defense. Alright, I got a Candy Cannon. Candy Cannon may deal up to 6 damage to a monster in the same lane once per turn. Well, let's go ahead and put that guy right there. So now I'm pretty well protected. This is pretty good, actually. So we're going to draw 4 monsters. So our first monster is a giant. And you notice when the giant is destroyed, it destroys all the cards in the same lane. Well, ugh, that stinks. But it is power 10. So let's go ahead and put that in this. Well, this actually tells us, this little row here, it tells us which lane it's going to go in. So it's going to go right here. Well, thankfully the Gummy General can actually move. So maybe we'll, if it advances closer, we'll maybe move the Gummy General into them and destroy them both. So, and the reason you may say, well, why would you want to get rid of a good defense? Well, because it's going to get stolen by your opponents. It just happens. So, draw another card here. We have the Executioner. The Executioner's power is equal to the number of monsters on your field. Alright, well, okay, that's kind of grim. But if you notice, the same lane. So we're going to push the giant forward like that. We'll draw another one. And we get the Queen Bee. No special powers, but she's level 5, and she goes there. So we'll put that there. And the Big Bad Wolf. He's a power 7, and he goes there. So we'll go here. Like so. So, alright, now I can play my cards. So if I wanted to play either, I don't have any other player board set up, so I'm not going to bother with these tricks. Well, actually, I could destroy all monsters on one row, which would actually, if I didn't think that I'd be able to take these guys out, maybe that's something I need. But that's a good card to hold on to. You will draw up to 5 cards at the end of the round, so if you want to use up your whole hand, you can. But here I have all these different powers and different abilities. So, the mirror equals something in the same lane. So I could go like this and put it there, and that would mean that I have a power of 8 along with that other 8. That might work well. And, well, I already was going to make sure that I put this Gummy Grunt out, and so it'd probably be a good idea maybe to put the Gummy Grunt here if I wanted to kill the Executioner, because they'd be 4 against, well, technically 4 at this point. But, I have, the 9 is going to get him anyway, so I'll put, the Gummy Grunt maybe here, so it can shoot this way in case something gets close. And Little Red Riding Hood instantly destroys the Big Bad Wolf in the same lane. So I can go like this, and bam, it's going to kill the big bad wolf. We'll go ahead and put that guy over there. Now, normally after I've played my cards, now before, this is the movement phase, so this is when like the monsters will move forward. But if you remember, the Gummy General can move. And so what we'll do is we'll go like this, and we'll move like, and that will take care of both the Gummy General and the Giant. It's going to kill both. But I don't want to do that just yet, because remember, if the Giant is destroyed, all cards in the same lane get destroyed at the exact same time. So, what might be a good idea is, because of the fact you can move the Harrier Jet up to 2 spaces, I could go ahead and go like 1, 2, and then have that off to the side. Now, I mean, I'm probably sacrificing Little Red Riding Hood by doing this, but, you know, it's one of those things where you got to take out the Giant because he's way too powerful, and it's just like what you have to do. So, you go over here, and you take care of that. Now, actually, now that I think about it, putting Little Red Riding Hood there was kind of dumb, because of the fact that by killing the Giant, and whatever, you make bad choices sometimes. By killing the Giant, the Gummy General is destroyed, but also the Giant kills everything in the same row. And so we'll go ahead and remove both Little Red Riding Hood, which we put down there, and the Executioner, which we go over there. Now, the monsters move. And so all that happens is that you would start over here and move down one by one, and then you get to the Queen Bee, you move that down 1, and now you're done. And then you go to the next player, and they would, like, you know, they would go through the same process. But before you do that, obviously, you draw cards in your hand, back up to 5. We can see what we get. We got the 3 blind mice, and these are kind of cool. They win ties rather than both being destroyed. We got another Gummy Grunt, which would have been awesome if we were able to keep that General alive. And surprise, choose an opponent. They choose 2 of their own defense cards and give them to you. So that's kind of nice. And so I didn't get another. I only got 2 defenses, but I got some cool tricks up my sleeve. And now the other players will go. Now, what's going to happen? Let's just see, like, the next person, what action they get. Poison Apple. Choose an apple. They may destroy one of, choose an opponent. They may destroy one of your defenses. So this next person would have to pick somebody. It's like, what defense of mine are you going to destroy? And then they get 2 monsters. Let's just pick one more to see. Get out of the way. Monsters left this turn are on fire, and move 2 tiles instead of 1. At the end of the turn, all monsters on fire are destroyed. Well, basically what that does is it pushes people further down faster, you know, because of the fact that the monsters come in. So you can kind of get an idea of the different actions that you're going to get because they just mess with what's going on. And that's pretty much the game. I mean, I'm not going to go and play multiple rounds because of the fact that it would just take a long time. But eventually it gets back to you. Now, between now and when it gets back to my turn again, undoubtedly people are going to, like, draw monsters and give them to me. Like, I'm going to get, like, maybe this Water Nixie, and, you know, I got this Ogre, and maybe, like, Rumpelstiltskin. And, like, it's like, and this is a pretty horrible. Rumpelstiltskin enters the game, choose 1, destroy 3 of your defenses, or flip 3 additional monsters. You know, so it's a tough thing, you know, decision to make. So, like, would I destroy 3, you know, maybe I'd, you know, kill off my Gummy Grunt, Candy Cannon, and Mirror Mirror, you know, just because of the fact that I still have some defenses, and the Harrier Jet's pretty powerful, so I can still go, you know, when I get Rumpelstiltskin. But then eventually it gets back to my turn, and then I would draw an action, and, you know, here's Witchy Woman, no tricks may be played during this turn, and I get 3 more. Let's see what I get here, just out of curiosity. Well, Death's Messengers goes into 3. Every time Death's Messenger destroys a defense, flip a monster card and enters your field. This would force the Queen Bee to hit the Harrier Jet, and she'd get destroyed because of the fact that 9 is bigger than the 5. So we go like that. Let's go one more. An Ogre. Each time Ogre moves, they destroy all cards in the tiles to its left and right. So we go, once again, Rumpelstiltskin's going to get destroyed because it runs into that Harrier Jet. We're getting kind of lucky here. And then one more card. Singing Bones. Player who destroys this monster places in the lane of an opponent's row 5, regardless of lane indicator. And so we'd go like there. And so then now my turn would start again, and I get to pick what I wanted to do as far as different actions, like maybe putting a Gummy Grunt there, putting 3 blind mice here. Maybe I'd play some of these tricks. Well, I can't because of the Witchy Woman. I couldn't do that. But then, you know, move the monsters again. And so, like, they'd he would these go like this, go like that. Death Messengers moves into the Harrier Jet, gets destroyed. The Ogre moves. Every time the Ogre moves, they destroy all cards in the tiles left and right. So they would actually destroy the Water Nixie for me. And this Ogre moves and actually would destroy this Ogre. And then maybe next turn I can move the Harrier Jet over to attack the Ogre and so on and so forth. It's definitely a war of attrition. You're going to have things that work out really well, but then no way I would be able to keep this Harrier Jet for very long. Somebody's going to steal that from me or destroy it with one of their trick cards because of the fact that you're just not going to let me have a very mobile number 9. So you have to be on your toes. You have to be constantly creating things. And trust me, the game does not take a long time for the monsters to overwhelm you and take you out. But there you go. That's how you play GingerDead House. I'm going to tell you exactly what I think about the game right now. I'm not going to spin this one because this is a pretty big box, and I have all the cards and everything still in here, so I don't want to make a big giant mess. But sorry if you're waiting for the box spin. I'm sure none of you are. Anyway, regardless, GingerDead House, that's how you play. I found the game to be hilarious and both fun. And by hilarious, I mean not so much like I have a Gumi bazooka or something like that. No, hilarious in the fact of laughing at my friends as I watch as their defenses crumble and bad luck causes their defenses to crumble upon themselves. Then they get eaten, by the dragon or whatever. And this is definitely a game of take that and attack you. And it's not so much, in my experience anyway, me setting up really good defenses. It's more of me just lasting longer because the monsters are really tough, especially if you get some combinations which will kind of debilitate some of your defenses and kind of make it difficult for you to survive, which is pretty much every turn. The really weird thing is that I think that's by design, honestly. It's more of like a war of attrition, if you will, that you're constantly losing ground. And you will get some respite. Every once in a while you'll have a turn or two where things will go well and maybe you'll be able to clear off your board a little bit. But it's only a matter of time before you draw your event card and all of a sudden it's like, yeah, draw 10 monsters, go, or you'll get a witch, which you'll have all your defenses set up perfectly. Oh, I'm going to be able to kill that guy and kill that guy and kill that guy, but you hit the witch and all of a sudden everything's two power levels higher and there's nothing you can do. You start searching for that card that can possibly get rid of it. So I touched on the whole player elimination thing. Yes, I realize that like player elimination, there's a little bone of a contention there. People don't like being knocked out of a game and not being able to do anything. But if my experience, once again, has been that everybody pretty much stays the same level the entire time, and once one person kind of falls, the other people are tumbling down as well. And this is definitely a game that we've always loved watching what the other people get, that expectation when they draw the card to see what they get and things like that, the monsters that they get, whether or not it's going to be like the same row or same lane and things like that. And so we found it highly enjoyable. It just even when we got knocked out, and face it, I'm kind of like that lovable loser kind of guy. So when I do bad, it's funny to me. It's like, oh great, another dragon, great. Oh super, I got the executioner again. Oh look at that, I'm dead. So and I can enjoy the game for that. Now there is a co-op version of the game that I have played. I played that with my daughter, and she and I had a lot of fun. And in co-op, the game works really really well. And I'm a fan of co-op games. I'm a fan of competitive games. So I do believe that like if you're not a person that actually enjoys take that games, I think there's a lot of game in here as well. I mean, it's the same basic premise. It's just you've all got to work together to defeat the monsters and stay alive, and so you're actually like then helping your neighbor and things like that. So cards in the deck that actually say you can kill any monster on anything really makes sense, because then you can help out that buddy and do that. And so it's really, in a lot of ways, 2 games in one. I mean, if you're feeling like you're in a bloodthirsty nature, then you have a game there where you can, take your friends to task and leave them for dead. And if you are like, I want to have a family-friendly atmosphere, it excels at that as well. So, for all those reasons, I really highly suggest this. I mean, and the really nice thing is like, there's no dice. I mean, and which is weird for me to say, but there's something nice about the idea that I'm putting out my cards, if you will, And I know what they're doing. I mean, I know that there's no randomness. It isn't like, oh, well, here I have this defense, and it'll work, you know, on a 1 through 7 on a D8 or something like that. No, I rolled an 8. Of course I failed. You know, that kind of thing. You know, it's, for those of you who remember, it's like playing a game of Supremacy and your L-stars just constantly roll 6s and let the nuclear bombs go through. There isn't that aspect. You can actually plan ahead, theoretically, as long as you don't get bad cards and bad events, that you can actually set up a good defense. And I like that aspect. I like building my little defense. I mean, like in Plants vs. Zombies, which, I mean, you have to think, well, all tower defense games, obviously, you know, kind of probably inspired this game. But, I mean, I like that. I like the fact that I can set up a defense, and it can work really well. And that, you know, barring, you know, somebody messing with it, and that's, which is nice, because if somebody does set up a nice little garden to protect themselves, so to speak, it's nice to be able to go in there and cut it down or steal something from it as well. So, for all those reasons, I found the game to be a lot of fun. It fit my game group perfectly. It fit my family perfectly when we played the friendlier version. And I'm really excited to, you know, like have a published copy of this once it fully comes out. So, there you go. If you have any questions about GingerDead House, please ask away. I'll answer those to the best of my ability. And thank you, as always, for taking the time to watch this video. If you have, I already said that. If you have any questions, no. Until next time, you have yourself one heck of an awesome day. All right, bye-bye now.